This is wild because it's also, I haven't seen these before. When I see photos of myself sometimes, I also catch like, oh, that's a Judy Hopps smile. Hi, I am Ginnifer Goodwin, the voice of Judy Hopps in Zootopia and Zootopia 2, and I'm going to put on these white gloves to protect these precious artifacts. And I, by the way, was actually an archivist at the Boston University Library, and I have no idea what is in these boxes. These are a surprise to both of us. What is this gonna be? Oh, look at this! You guys, this is amazing. This is some Once Upon a Time stuff right here. Because I was also Snow White in Once Upon a Time, and I shot an arrow or two. I'm actually okay with a bow and arrow, I'm not gonna lie. And in fact, they asked me to please calm it down. But I love archery, and this is, just gonna take it home with me. That's amazing. I can't believe this is here. Oh, I see what this is. Wow. This was from the first season of Once Upon a Time. All of it. I'm gonna cry this whole thing. I'm just gonna cry. It's my only actual skill. It's why I think I get hired as an actress, is just because I cry all the time. This was clearly hung on a set tree somewhere. When I got this script, I was coming off of a show called Big Love, and they said this is taking Disney characters and like kind of turning the whole thing on its head. And I said, I'm in. And they were like, you actually do have to read the script. And I was like, okay, but I'm just telling you right now that I'm gonna say yes. I wanted to live in the Disney world. And I think that the way that those creators were telling that story, like no one could have done what they did. And I feel really honoring the Disney legacy, but just filling in the blanks, what you didn't know was happening, like off page and off screen. Look, it's my ring! It's the Mary Margaret ring. So Mary Margaret has this in Storybrooke, not realizing that it's actually Snow White's ring that she still has. So it was on a different finger when Mary Margaret didn't know that she was Snow White. It was the object that demanded a lot of fiddling. There was a lot of like focus on whenever Mary Margaret was nervous, she would like twist it. I'm talking about her like she's not me. And this ring was featured in the 3rd episode called Snowfalls, even though I also then wore it for like 7 years. There it is. That's so cool. Oh, it's my wedding dress. This is Eduardo Castro at his best. He is a brilliant costume designer. Not only did he bring all of this to life, but he always made sure I was comfortable. There were always hidden things underneath, like comfy shoes, or are they called hot shots? Because we were shooting in Vancouver and it was cold. So I would have like these taped like hot things all over me. But anyway, yeah, those are real feathers. And like feathers are tough because you also have to be really careful in like how you sit and move in feathers because they like bend really easily. And we went through all kinds of ideas in terms of designing the look of Snow White. And it was decided that she just needed to be really natural and at one with the woods, and so in keeping. So I hear we are now going to hop deeper into the Disney Animation Research Library and explore the archives, find some more treasures. What? This is wild. So here we have some original Snow White art. This is crazy. Original wedding concept art, never used. I feel like this is an incredible example of like the Disney exploration process, which is trying everything, as it were, in order to like mine for the right story. Thank goodness people have clearly taken a lot of care since the beginning that these are in like original condition. Look at this, Sam. Don't paint this on background. It goes on overlay level. This alone, I mean, this is a masterpiece and it's just the sketch that was never even going to be filmed. And then this is the one that was shot as the background on the multi-plane camera. So this would have been behind then all of the cells that would have had all of the different layers. This is wild because you can also see like where the artists were exploring completely different looks for her. They were taking a timeless story, like a much older story, but they also like were bringing in some modern sensibilities in terms of like how she styled her hair and things at the time. And you know, all of the ink and paint department were women. Holy cow, it's Sterling Holloway, y'all. I grew up with Winnie the Pooh being that was my first love. And when my husband and I bought our house and we were sitting with our contractor and he goes, the first owner of your house was apparently an actor named Sterling Holloway, and Sterling Holloway obviously was the voice of Winnie the Pooh and the Cheshire Cat and the stork in Dumbo and Kaa in the Jungle Book. And so we had a sign made. We named our house Holloway House. Wow. And this is from my favorite Disney movie, which is Sincere. I can like separate myself from it in weird ways and then really can't separate myself from it in other ways when I'm like, but that's my face, but it's a bunny, but it's my face. I haven't seen these before. And obviously there's been an exploration of different like ideas for color and like build and different versions of what she could have become. Whereas this is more where we ended up. When we go into the booth, much like in the OG Snow White days, we're always being filmed. And they figure out in their magical Disney way, like how to consistently create a character who develops her own patterns of expression. For an animal with such huge ears, she's not always listening, which is a theme of Zootopia too. I always say that when her ears drop back, it's a moment when I feel like, ironically, the ears go down when she's really hearing it. I feel like Judy belongs to the world. Just like I feel like Disney has like given me that gift. This is making me emotional again. Like Disney has given me that gift in its history. And so to me, Judy is really like more me than any character I've ever played in terms of like what her soul is like it's really just mine. Thank you, D23, for having me, and thank you for joining me here at D23 Propped Up. This is some core memory stuff for me, selfishly. I can't believe we're here. We are in the presence of magic.